My simple message and what I really believe is that execution is the key, right? It's very easy to get an idea, right? I also get hundreds of ideas every day, and and when we meet people, everybody has an idea, but ability to execute is the key. And
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Q&A series. Today, we're doing Udyog Shaastra, and I'm your host, Prasad Patkar. And as always, I try my level best to bring interesting and informative topics to your doorsteps by presenting to you stories from entrepreneurs, from startup founders, policymakers, government officials, and MSMEs. As we all know, the COVID-19 crisis affected one and all. It had a profound and unprecedented impact upon everyday life, organizations, economies, and political communities. Crises like this tend to disrupt lives, bring hardship, and even tragedy. But on the other side, crises also tend to give an opportunity to step back and re-evaluate our lives. At the end of the day, it is totally up to us how we see it. For me, COVID-19 was a creative destruction moment. This term was coined by Joseph Schumpeter. It basically says that new innovations tend to replace the existing ones. Now, nothing embodies creative destruction as good as the fintech platforms. Today, we have the founder of one such platform, Nivesh, a startup that solves the problem of low penetration of financial products in India, for which the company has adopted a unique tech-human approach as it offers cutting-edge technology-enabled solutions while providing an exceptional customer experience. Welcome to the show, Mr. Anurag Garg.
thank you, Mr. Prasad, for inviting me here. It'll be a pleasure to talk to you and to your audience.
Sure, sir. It's our pleasure as well. Sir, before getting into the intricacies of the interview, I want to know your startup journey. I want to know the journey of Mr. Anurag Garg.
Okay, so my journey is pretty long. I spent almost 25 years in financial services industry, worked in different areas. Started with research, and then moved on to startup journey when I incorporated a startup which was known as mutualfundsindia.com. This was way back in 1991. I was very young at that time, and we created a platform for mutual fund investors when the industry was at a very nascent stage. And we got rated among best 150 sites in the world by Forbes. And eventually, the startup was acquired by ICRA, which is a rating agency. So it's a wholly owned subsidiary of ICRA right now. After that, I worked with another startup as one of their early hires. And that startup also was acquired by leading global players like Bloomberg and FactSet. And then after that, I worked for a while. And then again, the entrepreneurial bug started biting me. And I saw massive opportunity in the form of low penetration of financial products in India. And there were a lot of changes that were happening at that time when Modi came into power, in 14, 15. Jan Dhan happened, which created a lot of bank accounts. So it became very easy for people to access banking channel, because banking channel access is first and foremost condition for anybody to invest in financial products, right? You cannot invest through cash or other means. And then Aadhaar also enabled the KYC, so KYC became easier. Payment innovations were happening. So I thought, the coming decade will, significant penetration will happen, and a transaction portal platform, will make a lot of sense, for us to get into. And with my kind of experience, I believe that, I should be the one, at least trying to solve a problem that, country faces. So that led to setting up of Nivesh in 2016, and we launched the platform in 2017.
Great.
So that is the journey, when Nivesh got set up.
Okay. See, we tend to ask about the journeys of entrepreneurs because what usually happens is we have this notion which is quite prevalent, that entrepreneurs just, they come out of thin air, or they tend to just carry a bag or something. But what actually happens in reality is you tend to see a problem in the market, and then you offer a solution to it. So great to know about your startup journey. Sir, tell us a little bit about the kind of investment does Nivesh as a platform offers.
Yeah. So as I said earlier, we were looking at penetration of financial products, the investment products. And mutual fund came across as an obvious choice to start with, because see, mutual fund one is highly regulated, and there's a lot of awareness being created at different levels. For example, SEBI has been trying to popularize mutual funds a lot because actually they're meant for retail investors, right? And mutual funds play a huge role as far as economy is concerned, because we are able to channelize the savings of masses into capital markets, which is important for growth of the country. So mutual fund was our obvious choice to start with, and then we gradually added other investment products like bonds, fixed deposits, NPS. Now we are getting into digital gold as well. So gradually we are adding all kind of investment products, because see, customers have different kind of requirements. You can't bucket everybody into same kind of risk profile, time horizon. So so not everybody is comfortable with a volatile product, where money could be negative one day and could be positive next day. And particularly Indian mindset is something that they look for a fixed kind of return. That's why bank deposits are so popular. So that's why we decided to add products which offer a fixed return, things like bonds, NCDs, and fixed deposits. And now we are also working on bringing an insurance, because insurance also traditionally have been sold as investment products in India. And so many times, we come across insurance as a competition for the investment products that we offer. And there also a lot of mis-selling has happened in insurance because of being sold as a investment product. And when after 5-6 years people realize that they're not getting any return, so they feel very miserable. So insurance is actually risk protection, and investment should happen through products like mutual funds or other suitable products. So that is the reason we thought we should have insurance also in our kitty, so that we are able to offer a right combination of risk cover and investment to the customers in general. So that is the kind of idea we have in mind, that we should take care of all the needs of any customer, for the entire household, so they don't have to go to different channels for taking care of their personal finance needs.
Correct. Sir, you started with mutual funds. Do you think they're highly underrated in India?
Yes, they're highly underrated, and one primary thing about mutual fund is that mutual funds themselves can take care of all your asset allocation requirements, right? So asset allocation, for just the benefit of your viewers, the asset allocation means that we have investment in different kind of assets. When we say asset means equity is an asset, or a debt product is an asset, or gold is an asset, real estate is an asset, right? So we should have exposure to different kind of asset depending on our life cycle where we are. But one should not just be exposed to only one kind of asset class. Like, for example, you should not be just invested in real estate, or should not be just invested in fixed deposit. So very important to have a balanced exposure to all kind of asset classes, and mutual funds themselves can ensure that. So mutual funds are of different types. You have equity mutual funds, they invest in equity products. There are debt mutual funds which invest in debt products. There are real estate oriented mutual fund unit. There are gold mutual funds. So that asset allocation can be achieved through mutual fund itself, with a lot of benefits. You can do small investments, start with even 500 rupees. You can do systematic investment, which ensures that there is a discipline in the investment that you're making. There are tax benefits of investing through mutual funds. Long-term taxes on equity mutual funds are very low compared to what you pay on your fixed deposits, right? And there is, on top of it, highly regulated. What we tell our customers is that you can't lose your money, right? So unlike other products where your money can completely disappear, here the volatility may be there, but ultimately your money will come back to you, right? You want to withdraw your money, you can get your money in your bank in 2-3 days. Right? And there is a lot of transparency in everything. So definitely, I think for retail investors, it's very important. Kind of asset class. And unfortunately, a lot of money has come from HNIs and institutions into mutual funds. Very little of retail money has come into mutual funds, so far. So I think there is a huge scope for products like mutual funds, and I'm sure this industry will grow, significantly.
Yes, exactly. So when we talk about the low penetration, we also tend to look at that there is a huge window of opportunity.
Yes.
while we're talking about mutual funds. Okay, sir, you said about a lot of things related to lack of awareness regarding it. How do you deal with this? I mean, if you have the stats in front, I just recently read a factoid that the financial literacy in India is about 27%. So how do you come up? How do you tackle this challenge?
Yeah. So in fact, you see, for penetration of any financial product, there are two important parameters. One is awareness, and second, access. And my personal belief is that if access is there, awareness will automatically happen, right? Why?
Correct.
Because see, if you're investing in a product, you will definitely acquire knowledge about it over a period, right? You'll experiment, you'll learn, and then you'll start understanding it. So why bank
Yes.
deposits are popular? Because you have bank branch in every nook and corner of the country, right? So so that is the access element where you can go into a bank branch, you can open your FD, and then you understand that how FDs work, right? You understand the nuances of an FD. So access, I think has been a big factor why penetration has been low, and why even awareness is low for a product like mutual funds. So in our model, what we are trying to do is we are trying to create both awareness and access. And we believe that if access will be there, awareness will automatically happen. Though a lot of work has gone into creating awareness at different levels, right? So, for example, regulator has asked mutual funds to create a corpus for investor awareness programs. So the mutual funds conduct a lot of investor awareness programs. A lot of media writes a lot about benefits of investing in products like mutual funds. So awareness is happening, and when we talk to customers in tier 3, tier 4 town, people generally understand that they can benefit by investing in mutual funds. It's just that they don't know how to go about it,
Yes.
right? And then obviously certain misconceptions come in, that what happens, will somebody run away with my money? What happens if mutual funds collapse? So then we have to answer those kind of questions, which are obvious questions that anybody will have when you're starting with a product, new product. So I think access is extremely important, and awareness will happen automatically. And we create a lot of content. So for awareness, what we are doing is we create content which we make available to our customers, our audience, our target market. And we also use local languages a lot,
Okay.
because English is understood by a very, very small percentage of our population. In fact, it was an
True.
eye opener for me also, that how much of local languages is being used, and very little content so far was available in even in Hindi about mutual funds.
Yes.
Right? So we started creating a lot of content in Hindi, and it's very, very popular. People read, understand, and it's not actually Hindi; it's English now, because you have to use mixed language, right?
Yes.
More of conversational language to really put your point across. And so that's another way. So it's mix and match of things that you have to do. It's no I think one single right formula that you can
Exactly.
apply.
Yes. So you're targeting both India as well as Bharat.
Absolutely. Bharat is definitely important market for us,
Yes.
because I can give you some stats. So today there are about 3 crore mutual fund investors at best.
Okay.
Actual count is not available, but rough estimates are that maximum 3 crore mutual fund investors are there, and most of them are from the top tier of our population segment and
Yes.
from the major cities. So 85% of mutual fund assets come from top 15 cities, right? So rest of the India contributes to just 15% of mutual fund assets. So that can tell you how little the real Bharat understands about this product. And while there are huge bank deposits, right, total India has about 150 lakh crore of bank deposits, and retail money in mutual fund is just about 10 12 lakh crore.
Yes.
Right? So another funny part is that the Bharat, they end up putting money just in saving accounts. They don't even go and open FD. So a lot of money just remains idle in
Yes.
very, very low yielding products like saving accounts.
Yes.
So Bharat is one obvious target for us, because that's where the huge opportunity is there.
Correct. Sir, how do you jumble the two things? A, you have this challenge of tackling awareness. B, you have to infuse technology. That is exactly where the much talked about hybrid model of digital first with a human touch came into existence.
Yeah. So see, digital is extremely important again, because when you're talking of scale and you're talking of, going to every nook and corner of the country, you know, pure physical is impossible. And that is the reason why, the penetration is so low in spite of these products being there for almost 30 years, right? So first mutual fund came in being in 92, 93. And even the, National Stock Exchange was, established in 92. But after 30 years, we are still at very low penetration because the most of the operations were physical, right? So digital is extremely important. Digital is also important to ensure that the customer has a consistent experience, and there are very few service challenges, right? So once somebody is invested, uh, some or other service requirement will always be there, and if service is not proper, they'll again tend to, withdraw or not, invest more. So through technology, we can ensure all of that. We can ensure that we are giving the right product to the customer depending on his, preference, what he's looking at, what his financial goals are. We can enable transactions in few clicks, which is very important, because research shows that if you take a lot of time for any transaction, the customer may not remain interested, right? So this applies to any kind of sale, including financial product. If you say that you have to fill up a 5-page form, the person will say, "Acha, theek hai, leave the form with me. I'll think about it and I'll come back," and that day may never come. So, but through a platform, that option is not there with the customer. He can just go ahead, and in few clicks can do the transaction. Then he can track his portfolio in real time using a simple mobile app. So that transparency is a big thing in financial products. That every day in the morning he can go to his app and can see what is happening to his portfolio. If he wants to withdraw the money, again few clicks he can redeem. Money will come back to his account in 2-3 days. And that's what we tell them many times, that you try redemption and see how fast money comes into your account, because that experience, that comfort, that that money is at my fingertips, that is a big game changer. And then if there is any issue, they can reach out to anybody through the app. And then human touch. Why human touch? Again, because somebody who is starting will have obviously a lot of questions and queries, right? So technology cannot do that kind of job at what humans can do. Technology can do up to certain limitation. So we decided to partner with individual distributors who are already into financial products. So a lot of mutual fund agents, a lot of insurance agents, chartered accountants who have been selling financial products, in their circle, and they were typically offline and struggling to scale up. And we said, it can be a mutually win-win proposition where we bring in the technology, we bring in the research, we bring in the content. We take care of all integrations with different kind of mutual funds, insurance companies, and you partner with us to provide these products to your customers. You handhold them. See, most of these investing journeys are long-term journeys. These are not transactional journey that I invest today and I forget about it. What our customers are trying to do is that they are trying to achieve some or other financial goal while starting the investment journey with us. Right? This goal may be 5 year away, 10 year away, 15 year away. But because markets are volatile, you know, the customer will also go through an emotional ups and down while he's on this journey, right? So when markets have crashed, for example, last year when the pandemic started, there were obvious questions by customers that what will happen to my investment now? Should I just redeem, stop my all investment? So there the human element becomes very important, where somebody can counsel them, tell them that these things do happen, and historically, markets have come back, delivered better returns. So you should remain invested. You should continue your SIPs. So that emotional journey can be done by an advisor who is, and to whom the customer trusts. Right? We believe that it should not be a call center agent who, whose face the person is not aware, and the person changes every time you call the call center. Right? Here the person is permanent. He knows he can visit, meet him in person, and the advisor or the distributor is can provide all kind of product. He is also confident that technology is available for him to take care of all requirements of the customer. So that way it becomes win-win proposition for everybody. Win-win proposition for the customer because he's getting best of the digital and best of a personalized attention, assisted approach. and he's able to access all kind of products. All kind of investment options are available to him. And for us, because we can reach to different parts of the country. Today we have partners in about 130 locations all over India. Right, we have customers in more than 1,000 pin codes all across India. So I think that is possible because of the model that we have adopted, and this will, I think, hold us in good stead, as we grow.
Indeed, indeed. I think we tend to say that the universe craves for balance. So, that marriage between technology and human touch is very important. Sir, I'll move on to the next question. Uh, Everybody's Achilles heel, COVID-19 and the lockdowns. I'm sure that you had uh, your own challenges, you had your own journey. What was it like? What thought came to your mind? How did you see it? The threats, the opportunities. What was it all about?
Yeah, so I think biggest challenge was the whole uncertainty that what will happen, right? And I think when it started, most of us were clueless that what it means, whether it'll last for few weeks. So initial lockdown was 3 weeks, and we were all expecting that after 3 weeks things will be normal. We'll go back to offices. Life will return to normal very soon. Then 3 weeks became 5 weeks. Then the weeks turned into months. So that uncertainty, I think, was the biggest challenge. But fortunately for us, our entire office and infrastructure was designed in a way that we could transition to work from home without any disruption at all. Right? So our entire systems were working out of cloud. Our team members had laptops. So there was not a disruption of a single day. Our partners continued to work, we continued to work. And it became, in fact, a big opportunity for us because the adoption of technology was very rapid during this phase. Right. So earlier we had to convince the distributor partner that you use our platform, it will enable you to do things. Now, because they could not venture out of their house, the mutual fund offices were closed, they were forced to use technology. Right. So technology adoption was very easy, and then they realized the benefit of using a platform. And another thing that happened, that customers were also kind of available, because earlier for a distributor to hold on to a customer also used to be difficult, because customers didn't have time, they were busy in their routine. Now, because of the lockdown, the customers were also free, they had time, they were looking at other aspects other than just the business. So the entire thing kind of helped us to grow, scale up, and understand what we should be doing. So it was a good learning experience for us, and good opportunity. And it kind of reinforced the thing that platforms are the future. This is the way forward, and we are on the right track.
Yes, so I read a couple of interviews of yours, sir, where you said that COVID-19 was again a kind of a demonetization movement. I
Yes.
think yes. So I think you made it quite aptly clear that, like I said at the start of the interview about creative destruction, uh, you have to go through certain events where you need disruption. You move from point A to point B. Okay, sir. Moving on to the next question. Everybody's fascinated by Nivesh's model. So tell us about how do you generate revenue? What does the model look like, and what is the outlook for it?
So as I said earlier, we are distributing financial products of different forms and shapes, and eventually we want to have all financial products on our platform, because we believe that every customer is unique. Requirements of each customer could be different. So we should give the right product to the customer that is suitable to his profile. Right? And we make money by getting commissions from the manufacturer of these producers. So we get commissions from the manufacturers, and then we pass on the commission to our distribution partners. So that is how basically the model works. We don't charge anything to our customers, and we realize that the kind of customers we are dealing with, the kind of the sizes of investments may not be very large. So expecting the customers to pay will be very difficult. That'll basically make the model very slow start. And we often get questions that how much do you charge? What will be the charge applicable on me for using your platform? So the moment we tell them that there is no charge, the customers become happy. Okay, I don't have to pay anything. And many times they may be starting with an SIP of 1,000 rupees, right? So you can't expect them to pay something when the investment itself is so small. So this model works for us, and we'll continue to stick to this model, and we'll see in future if there is a need to change to a different model. But for now, I think this is the model we'll go with, and it's a very,
Excellent.
very sustainable model for everybody. For us, for our partners, and for customers.
Correct, correct. How is the market penetration right now? What is your what how do you evaluate?
In terms of our own performance or overall market, you're talking about?
About the overall market and what's your position right now?
The overall market, I can go on and on. The penetration is extremely low in India. Right? It's just at 3 to 4% of the population, while numbers should be much, much larger. Right? And an unfortunate part is that bulk of the penetration is concentrated in few cities. Few
Yes.
states and few cities basically have bulk of the penetration right now. And majority of the country and large states like Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, the penetration is very, very poor.
Yes.
And even globally, if we compare ourselves, mutual fund assets are like 10% of our GDP,
Yes.
while the developed countries are at about 100%, and even emerging countries like Brazil and all are at about 40-50% of GDP. So there is a lot of catch up has to happen. So on one side, GDP is growing, but share of mutual fund is very low. That tells you that. And another important thing is that India saves a lot. When it comes to
Yes.
saving, India figures at the top, but when it comes to financial products, India is at the bottom, right? So it's a very strange, situation, and I'm sure it'll correct. The things will correct themselves over next, 10, 15 years, and that's where this opportunity is. That people will start, investing in financial products. They need access to financial products. That'll help, the economy also in a big way, because money will come into formal system. The money which is there, in unproductive system, you have a lot of scams because of that. The chit fund, you hear stories that people invest in chit funds, and then there are scams. So all of that should resolve itself over the period. And as far as we are concerned, we have been able to make good progress. We have been able to grow 100 times in last 3 years as far as our business is concerned. And the scale up is increasing every month, and it's happening on basically, see, we have a network effect. As we increase our partners, they bring in more customers, and then every customer keeps adding to his portfolio, because of the transparency. A lot of our existing customers do repeat business. We have about 8 to 10% of our customer doing a new transaction every month, which is very high compared to industry standards. So because of this kind of network effect, we are able to grow exponentially, and we believe we'll continue to grow this way for next many years. So it's been a good journey.
Great, great to hear that, and we also expect the same. There is an age-old saying in the startup world that your product needs to be 10 times better than what's already out there. And when you combine that idea of your value proposition, you get the result that value created needs to outbalance the effort required for use by multiple of 10. Now, the idea behind saying this is value creation. How do you define the key value proposition that you offer? Or in layman terms, I need to ask the USP. How do you really differentiate Nivesh from the others?
So, see, our USP is a very simple process for investment for anybody. Because if it's a complex process, again, people will not invest. Nobody likes complexity in life. Everybody wants simplicity. Even in consumer goods, there is a research that if in a store, if the shelf has a lot of products, customers will probably not choose anything, because they'll get confused and they'll say, they'll defer the decision. Right.
Yes.
So the simplicity is very important. Consciously, we have tried to make sure that the product is simple. Our app is very simple and easy to use, and we don't present too many complex options to the customer. See, what happens is, as a financial advisor, you like to talk about concepts. You like to throw your knowledge at the customer, but that's not really a good idea. You have to make things very simple and easy to understand for a layman, and that's what we have tried to do with us. So that is USP. And similarly, the local languages, communicate in their own language, what they understand better. That's what we are trying to do. And third is the hybrid model that we have adopted. So these are the three, major USPs I would say that our model has, which kind of puts it in a unique situation, compared to other startups in the similar domain.
So the USP of Nivesh is getting back to the basics. What happens in technology is you tend to come across so many jargons and that you make the things and processes very complicated. And rightly said by you that we often tend to lose sight of what we really want and forget the basics. So I think personally, as an interviewer and also as an avid follower, person who takes keen interest in finance, it was really great for me, to learn all the things. Uh, Moving to the final section of the interview, sir, your message to all the entrepreneurs. I mean, it could be a philosophical message, it could be a spiritual one, a social one. What do you really want to convey? What is that mantra you would want to give to them?
Hey, my simple message and what I really believe is that execution is the key. Right? It's very easy to get an idea. Right? I also get hundreds of ideas every day, and and when we meet people, everybody has an idea. But ability to execute is the key, and that's what the focus should be for any entrepreneur. That how do I execute, right? And what execution means is doing something, good every day. Any incremental change every day, will result in a good execution. Just like while building house, you are first building a wall, and while building a wall, you're putting bricks, right? Each bricks basically you are adding to creation of the wall, and you are adding to creation of the home, right? So same in a venture like this, every small decision that you'll take, every incremental change that you'll make will go a long way in building that venture. But you have to take that step every day, right? So that incremental change every day becomes key to success of the venture. There's no magic that will happen. We may read magic stories and get inspired, but that magic happens maybe one, for 10,000 cases. In one case, there could be magic that the venture grew maybe 100x in a year, right? But ultimately, it has to be a, brick by brick kind of approach that will lead to a sustainable, growth as well as success of the venture. So that's what I believe. And, entrepreneurs should be capable of waking up in the morning and, determined to tackle the problems that he'll face, because there will be problems, right? Life. In fact, what I tell my team is that, we are here to solve the problem. If there are no problem, we are not required, right? So there will be problems. You have to solve the problem and, make sure that we keep moving forward. So every step, will take you towards your goal, and you have to just keep walking.
Excellent, excellent. Sir, one financial advice from your side?
Uh, that's a difficult one because just throwing an advice is always very, very difficult. But what one I think important advice is that you have to have a disciplined approach for your saving and investment. So again, there is no magic wand. It's like fitness. You have to go on your fitness regime every day. Every day you have to spend time on your fitness. So same way for financial fitness, you have to be very disciplined in your savings and investment. You have to save every month. You have to invest every month and be a regular saver and investor. Right? That's how you'll build a good corpus in the long run. So there is no shortcut, no magic wand. Just follow a systematic, disciplined approach.
That was a great analogy. Trying to chip in with health and fitness into your financial aspects of life. Sir, I would try to just wind up the interview. But before that, I would like to know one film or a song or a book that would describe your journey till date. It could be your favorite film, it could be your favorite song, something that describes you, or something that is in tune with your philosophy or your life in general.
Very difficult again. Nothing comes to my mind, frankly.
Living by the process, living by the flow.
Yeah, living by the flow, absolutely. I enjoy movies, but those are mostly for the fun. And as far as investing is concerned, approach of Warren Buffett, obviously, works very well,
Great.
which is,
Yes.
you are investing for long run, and
Yes.
kind of, when you're investing in equity, particularly, believe that you own a business, right? So I think that is what, if somebody understands, the equity investment will become very easy for him, right? It will
Great.
not remain a speculation or a volatile investment, right? So I think that understanding is important for anybody, and otherwise,
Great.
nothing else. Yeah.
No problem, sir. I think you come from a very humble background, and for you to come and invest in something as good as Nivesh itself speaks about the journey and the experiences that you have. That's why throughout the interview we've been talking about living by the experiences, living by the flow, having skin in the game. Like you said, if you don't have access, or if you don't tend to experiment, you wouldn't get to know what the financial challenges and risk are all about. It was great to have you, Mr. Garg. I think there are a lot of things which we would like to explore, especially from the finance aspect, for which we'll do separate conferences, separate panel discussion. We would definitely love to have you with a pool of other expert panelists for several of our conferences which are scheduled in the time to come. But it was great to have you, sir. And I hope you enjoyed the interviews, and please keep inspiring everybody. Would you like to say something while we move?
No, I think it was great talking to you, and always pleasure, talking about my experiences. So thanks for inviting again, and we'll definitely keep in touch. Thank you.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Sure, sir. So this was Mr. Anurag Garg, the founder and CEO of Nivesh. Before leaving, if you want to watch this interview, please tune into www.smeventure.com. The interview would be available on our YouTube channel, on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and it will be available to you from all our communication collaterals. This is from me. It's time to bid adieu. It's time to say goodbye. Thank you for watching us, and we'll see you again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.